Hello and welcome to Hoffmann-Photography. My name is Rainer. I'm a photographer and photo instructor. In today's video, we'll talk about the resolution of an image and why you shouldn't confuse pixels per inch and dots per inch. The resolution of an image and how it relates to the printed image, and the stress here is on printed, seems to be quite a mystery for many beginners. So let's try to solve this mystery once and for all. Have you ever wondered what the size of a pixel is? I'm not talking about the size of the light-sensitive photodiodes on the sender, but about the size of a pixel of an image, like this one. The answer is a pixel doesn't have a particular size, or more precisely, it can have very different sizes, depending on the resolution of the image. The resolution indicates how many pixels fit on a unit of length. This unit of length is usually taken to be an inch. If only one pixel fits on 1 inch, then the resolution is 1 pixel per inch, or short ppi. And the edge length of the pixel is then exactly 1 inch. If 10 pixels fit on 1 inch, the resolution is 10 pixels per inch, and the edge length of any one pixel is then, of course, only 1/10 of an inch. And so on. The higher the resolution, the smaller the pixels. However, depending on the camera model, the image has a maximum number of pixels, horizontally and vertically. And therefore, the image dimensions also change when we change the resolution. Let's take a look at this image. Okay, we go to Document, Resize Document, and this window pops up. I'll zoom in a bit. Here we go. And I deselect Resample. Now, in this box, I can put in a number for the resolution. Note that it is called DPI, dots per inch here. I don't like that. It should be PPI, pixels per inch, but more about that later. Now, if I change the resolution, let's say I type in 10,000 pixels per inch, nothing much happens. Note that the number of pixels in the image remains unchanged. I've changed the resolution, but the number of pixels is the same as before. 5,700 pixels wide and 3,800 pixels high. Now, let's zoom out again. If I click Resize, then nothing happens here on the screen because the number of the pixels remains the same. I just changed the resolution. But if I go to File and Print, then you'll see the image is just about the size of a postage stamp. Let's say something like 1 by 2 centimeters or so. Let's go to Resize Document again. Resize Document, and I'll zoom in again. Uncheck Resample. And now I change the units from pixels to centimeters. And now you can see what happened. Due to the very high resolution of 10,000 pixels per inch, now the document size, when printed, and that's the important point, when we print that image, it will be just 1.5 by 1 centimeter. And let's put in a different resolution. Let's say 20 ppi. And now the image would be very large, about 7 meters wide by 5 meters high. And again, let's zoom out and hit Resize. Again, nothing happens on screen, but if we now go to File and Print, then the image would be much larger than the A4 size paper. And don't worry, it's all red here because this is just a warning that the image will not fit on the selected paper. The more pixels you have at your disposal, the larger the image can be printed in good quality. This image has about 22 megapixels. So let's see how large we could print this image. We go to Document and Resize Document again, and as usual I'll zoom in and I deselect Resample. Now if we wanted to print this image on an inkjet printer, the recommended minimum resolution is 150 ppi. And you can immediately see, in this case, we can print the image about 1 meter wide and 65 centimeters in height. Now, if we wanted to print this image on an offset printing machine, then the recommended resolution is 300 ppi, and you can instantly see now the image size is just about half as before, about 50 centimeters by 32 centimeters. The resolution seems to be a value that you can choose as you like. And indeed, as long as you just watch your images on a screen, be it a TV, your smartphone or your computer screen, the resolution doesn't matter. The same is true for images on websites. But, and it's a big but, if you want to print your images, then you can't just choose a random value for the resolution. Every printing process requires a minimum resolution for a high quality print. For inkjet printing, 150 to 200 pixels per inch are required. Other processes like offset printing require a higher resolution, something like 300 pixels per inch. If you don't know what resolution is required, ask your print provider. One additional point. A higher resolution than the required one is never a problem. It's the low resolutions that can and will result in low quality prints. And there's more. If you want to send your photos to friends or family by email, then a 22 megapixel file would be much too large for most inboxes. In that case, you have to make the image smaller by resizing it. So let's do that. Again, I'll zoom in. Now, first thing to do is check that box that says resample. Now that you've got some options here, but for the moment, let's not worry about those. Now I change the units back to pixels, and let's say we want that image 1000 pixels wide. And there we go. Now I'll zoom out again and click resize. Unfortunately, we don't see much on the screen. But if we go to resize document again, we can now see that the image is just 1000 pixels wide. Now, at this size, unfortunately, we cannot print that image very big. I'll change the units again to centimeters, and now you can see at a resolution of 300 ppi, I can print the image just about 8 by 5 or 8 by 6 centimeters. So that's simply because we just don't have enough pixels for a larger size at this resolution. Now that's resolution and image size. But what about pixels per inch and dots per inch? Well, pixels per inch refer to the resolution of an image as we have seen. Dots per inch, on the other hand, is a term used in offset printing, and it refers to a so-called halftone screen. Here is an illustration of a halftone screen. In offset printing, the ink dots all have different sizes. Light tones are printed with small dots and dark tones with large dots. But the dots are all equidistant, no matter how small or big they are. And just as with the pixels, we can have a certain number of dots printed per inch. The left halftone screen then could be, let's say, 10 dots per inch, and the one on the right could be 20 dots per inch. Note that the resolution of an image, that's ppi or pixels per inch, is not directly related to the dots per inch of the halftone pattern. However, for printing with a fine halftone screen, like the one on the right, the image should have a higher resolution than for printing with a coarse halftone screen. So, pixels per inch and dots per inch are not the same. Regrettably, both terms are used synonymously these days. I don't like that, but that's the way it is. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.